Hey everyone, John here, and welcome back to the Toy Box. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're having a great day and an amazing weekend. Today we are going to look at the Kanto legendary birds. We have the Pokémon Center Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres Sitting Cuties Plushes. We're going to go ahead and start off with Articuno here, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. First, we have Articuno. This is the Ice-type legendary bird and can be found in the Seafoam Islands. Its name is a combination of Arctic since it is so icy and Uno, which is 1 in Spanish. I guess that means it was designated as number 1. Out of the 3 legendary birds, Articuno was my favorite. My friends and I used to gather every morning before school to battle, and this was back in the day when we needed a link cable to battle, with red and blue. We used to rotate and fight each other every morning. Articuno was one of the Pokemon that I used regularly in those battles, and it did pretty well. Let's take a look at the plush. So first, Articuno passes the standing test. It can stand on its own without help from the wall or any other objects. It's good for displays. Now for the colors, this is how Articuno looks in the game, so the colors are spot on. As for the proportions, let's talk about that. So, did the proportions bother me a little bit? Yes. But I think that this is probably the best way it could be done. Let's look into it. So, as far as the proportions go, the body should fit about 2 heads, which it's roughly right. But the wings really should be about twice the size that they currently are for this body. Now, for the tail is about a little bit more than taller than the plush, so it should be a little longer, maybe 1.5 to 2 times longer. So now that we've established that, what were the alternatives? Well, we could extend the wings, they could be longer, but then we really wouldn't have a Sitting Cuties plush anymore because the plush would be too big. Now we can also shrink down the body. That way the wings would be more proportional, but then the body would be too small. And when you sit Articuno next to the other Sitting Cuties plushes, it would look kind of awkward. So we need to have a compromise here. And I think the best compromise was made. You highlight the head, you have all the details here. All the details are in the wings, but the wings are a bit shorter. So I think that they went the right route with this. Now, as far as the firmness goes, if the typical Sitting Cutie is a medium firmness, then I would say that Articuno is one of the softer Sitting Cuties plushes. So it's very nice. Let's take a look at the details. So we have the head. So we have embroidered eyes. The beak is right here. It juts out like this, so you can see it from the side. We have this crystal crest, which is a little firmer than the rest of the plush. Here, I'll turn it over so you can see the other side. Now, I want to take a look at the wings. So, the wings are pretty thin. They're not stuffed at all. And I really like them because when you press down on them, because they're not stuffed, it feels like you're pressing on air. So, it's very soft. I love it. Nice. Now, for the body, first, I want to show you the chest right here. It's very fluffy. I love this. And as far as the pellets go, about midway through the body, so starting about right here, the pellets go all the way down. So there are a lot of pellets in this plush. And of course, that's what makes the plush able to balance and stand on its own. Now, moving on to the legs. I like this detail right here where the feathers end. You can see it goes all the way around. And then you have the gray feet, and the feet end with talons right here. And the talons themselves look like they're made of a double-sided material. I think it's felt. Here's the other leg so that you guys can see. And lastly, we'll move on to the tail. So first, here's where the feathers end. We have this little detail right here, which is very nice. And it goes all the way around. And then we have the tail itself. There's no stuffing in here. You can see the lines sewn in. And here's how it looks on the other side. And it's very soft, very flexible. It won't stay put, but it's very soft. And lastly, we have the tags. So this is the old tag. I got this plush when it was restocked the first time because I wasn't able to get it the first time it was released. So I think if you were to get it now, or the next time it gets released, then you'll probably have the newer tags. Here is the toe tag. And well, anyways, so that was Articuno. So let's move on to our next bird, Zapdos. Alright, next we have Zapdos. This is the electric type legendary bird and can be caught at the power plant. Its name is a combination of zap, since it is so electrifying, and dos, which is 2 in Spanish. I guess that means it is bird number 2. Now, even though I didn't battle with Zapdos as much, I feel a connection to Zapdos. It being electric type feels very techy to me, and I'm in tech, so I feel a kinship with it. Like, it can power all my equipment if there was a blackout. Very useful. Oh, and also, Zapdos and I have the same hairstyle when I wake up, so bonus. Let's take a look at the plush. So first, Zapdos passes the standing test. Now, it can stand on its own without help from the wall or any other objects. It's good for displays. As far as the colors and proportions go, the colors are spot on. This is how Zapdos would look in the game. Now, for the proportions, we have to look at the same issues that Articuno had. And really, it's that the wings are a little too small, and the tail is also too small as well. And it is the same trade-off with Zapdos that you would have with Articuno. So I think they went the right route with this, so that they could highlight all of the details of the plush. And even though the wings are a little shorter, all the details are there, so it looks pretty good. As far as the firmness goes, if the typical sitting cutie is a medium firmness, then I would say Zapdos is the typical sitting cutie. It is about a medium firmness. Now, let's take a closer look at all the details. We'll start off at the head. Zapdos' eyes are embroidered. You can see here's the other eye. Now, the beak is pretty long and it's sharp, so actually be careful about poking your eye with this. You can see the nostrils here. These are embroidered on too. And then we have Zapdos' hairstyle. You can see spikes coming out. The spikes are pretty thick, so I'll turn it to the side so you can see the thickness here. This is how it looks. This is how it looks in the back. And here is the other side. Here we fold down the wings so you can see all of the spikes. Now next, we'll look at the wings. So the wings are dual layered. So we have the black wing here and then the yellow wing here. Both sets of wings are made of dual layered material with they're fuzzy on the edges. And you can see the dual layer where they're attached here. Here is the other one, the black side. It's a little hard to see with the black side just because of the color, but it's the same as the yellow. And then they go together like this. You can see the other one. You can see from the sides too. And this is how it looks. In the back right here, you can also see that they ended the feathers right here. So this is a nice detail. These endings here are pretty soft. Now moving on to the body. Just like Articuno, Zapdos has a lot of pellets. So I would say the pellets start around this area of the body here and they go all the way down. So this is what helps Zapdos balance. Now, there's a lot of detail in the legs here, so you can see the feathers end here. You can see the fabric here. This part's brown, stuffed. And then this is where it's separated. The legs are on their own. And you can see the talons here. The talons, just like Articuno's, are made of a felt. It's dual layered. Here's the other leg so that you can take a look. Here's how the view looks. And then we have the tail. So the tail also has a yellow layer right here and a black layer right here. And they're like a spiral here. So you can see how it goes here. Here's from this end. Here it is from the sides. And then lastly, we have the tags. So here's the tag for Zapdos. And here are the toe tags. All right. So anyways, that was Zapdos. So let's go ahead and take a look at our third bird, Moltres. So, last but not least, we have Moltres. You can catch Moltres at Victory Road in Red and Blue, or Mount Ember if you're playing Fire Red and Leaf Green. Its name is a combination of molten, since it is hot. Not hot, but hot. And Tres, which is 3 in Spanish. I remember struggling to catch Moltres in Pokemon Go. This was when Legendary Raids first started. We used to have issues getting a party together so that we can try the raid and actually beat it. Now, my wife would help me when we were short on people. Remember that she doesn't remember Pokemon names very well. She has to use nicknames. Moltres, for example, is Firebirdie. This was fine for me since I know what she was talking about. Now, one day, she was on her way to help me with a raid and she came across some other PokeGo players. She told them there was a Firebirdie raid, but they were very confused. I guess they didn't get the memo, but it made things interesting when she tried to recruit people for raiding parties. Let's take a look at the plush. So first, Moltres passes the standing test. It can stand on its own without help from the wall or any other objects. It's good for displays. Now for the colors and proportions, the colors are spot on. It looks very good. This is how Moltres looks in the game. Now for the proportions, again, we run into the same issues that we ran into for Articuno and Zapdos. Let's explore. So again, the head the body should take up about 2 heads, which is about right. However, the wings should really be about twice as long. The tail comes up to about the full height of the plush, so I guess the tail is actually fine. It's really just the wings. And we have the same trade-off as before. If the wings are too long, then the plush is too big. It's not a Sitting Cuties plush anymore. But if we shrink the body, then we start having issues with the plush looking awkward. Now, again, I think they went with the right decisions. They made the right compromise. All the details are here. It's just the wings are a little smaller. Now, for the firmness, if the typical Sitting Cuties plush is a medium firmness, then Moltres is pretty soft. It's one of the softer Sitting Cuties plushes. Now, there are a lot of details here, so let's take a look. So first, we'll start off with the head. The eyes here are embroidered. The beak is pretty skinny, and it's stuffed also, so you can see it from the side and from the front. Now, you can't go wrong here with Moltres' hairstyle. So it's very fluffy to have like the texture of the fire. So it's pretty fluffy. And it's also stuffed as well. Now, moving on to the wings. Now, the wings are kind of like Articuno's in a way. So it's thicker because of how fluffy the flames are here. It looks thicker, but it's the same as Articuno's, that there's really no stuffing in here. So when you press on it, it feels like you're pressing on air, which is very cool. I'll show you from the back. And you can see just how fluffy the wings are, which is really nice. Here's the other side. Now, moving on to the body, we have pellets up about this level right here, all the way down. So that really helps Moltres stay able to balance and sit on its own. Now for the legs, we have the feathers ending right here, which is a nice detail. Then moving on to the feet themselves, we have talons right here, they look like double-sided material, probably felt. And it goes here's the other legs that you guys can see. And then we have the tail. So the tail is stuffed, and it's also very fluffy. So this is also the softest part of the plush, which is very nice. I mean, you kind of forget that it's supposed to be fire. It's supposed to be hot, but it's very soft and very fluffy. So pretty cool. Let me show you from above, below. There it is. And lastly, we have the tags. So Moltres was the first plush that I was able to get. And I got it a long time ago, so it's still using the very first tag that came out. And here are the toe tags. All right. So anyways, that was Moltres, and let's bring everyone back together. Well, These were the Pokémon Center Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres Sitting Cuties Plushes. So, what do you guys think of these plushes, and which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. If you're interested in these Pokemon, I'll put links to Pokémon Center in the description. At the time of filming, they are going for $10.99 each. Now, these can be hard to get, but don't get discouraged because I think they do get restocked. I got Moltres on my first try, but I ended up having to wait for the second restock to get Articuno and Zapdos. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys this week. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, rate, subscribe, and don't stop playing.